Franchesca with Good Cakes, and today we're making vegetarian chili. Let's go over the ingredients that we need for the vegetarian chili. Okay, we have this textured vegetable protein. You can find this at any Whole Food, or you can buy it on Amazon for about $5 to $6. You're going to have more than enough for this recipe. So this is your textured vegetable protein, and this is what it looks like when you pull it out the bag. We're going to use some garlic, some onion powder, some smoked paprika, some vegetable stock. You can buy it in a container as well, but I mixed this using this. We also have a little soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce. We have some fresh black pepper. We have some tomato paste and some olive oil. That's for your meat or your fake meat, your TVP. Now next we have other ingredients. Is fresh cilantro that we're going to top our chili with, our green onions, we have poblano pepper, we have some jalapeno peppers. Next on our list to go to our chili, we're first going to start with our garbanzo beans. We're going to roast those. So these are 2 cans of garbanzo beans. On the can, they're rinsed and they're drained and they're patted dry. So these are dry garbanzo beans. This is our cast iron skillet, or if you have a Dutch oven or whatever type of skillet that you have, that's the skillet you will be using to roast the garbanzo beans. Whole seed coriander as well as cumin. We have fresh bay leaves. We have some chili peppers, this dried chili peppers, mild. We have some garlic powder as well as onion powder, some fresh salt. We have smoked paprika, we have Mexican oregano, some chili flakes, a dash of chili peppers, a little cinnamon as well. Our beans, I have black, I have red kidney beans, and garbanzo beans, but you can use whatever bean of your choice. So as that pan is roasting, or that pan is heating, we're going to go ahead and add some olive oil to the pan, just a little to go across the bottom of the pan. Once that pan heats, now, while that pan is heating, we're going to do 2 things at one time. While that pan is heating, we're going over to our meat, our TVP. In this, we're going to add 3 cups of vegetable stock. We're going to add to that the soy sauce and the Worcestershire sauce. With that, we're going to also add our garlic powder in this. Let's move that so you can see. We're going to add our onion powder in there as well. We're going to add our smoked paprika in there as well. And that's just about a tablespoon. I got too much in there. To that, we're going to add the stock to the TVP. And that's all you have to do. You just leave that there. What I'm doing now is adding the garbanzo beans to the olive oil. You may want to wait till that gets a little hotter, because it should sizzle a little bit, but I'm just winging this today. So we're going to put them in here, in this pan. I'm trying to avoid the water, as much moisture as possible. I'm going to spread these out and toss them in the pan with the olive oil, and that's it. You're just going to let those sit. Going to add a touch of salt to them. Just cover them. And you just let those cook. So now what I'm going to do is turn the eye of this burner on. If you have an electric stove, you can do this as well. You can just simply lay it on the eye. I would put something under it like a little piece of foil. But you can lay it on the eye of the burner, clean it first, and then you can roast your peppers. You can also roast them in the oven. But if you have the advantage to have a gas stove, this works perfect. You just simply sit it on the eye. You let it burn. It does the work for you. So it's going to cook on one side, and what you want it to do is, I'll show you when it starts getting a little. They get hot, they pop like popcorn, so you have to be careful. I'm going to let that sit a minute. And as this is cooking, it smells like weed. You know, it does smell like, did you cut that out? As it roasts and it sears, you just turn it over. It blisters, it begins to blister. I didn't leave it long enough on that side, but we're going to leave it this time. We're going to walk away and let that sit. But it would just begin to blister, and I can actually cheat. Put one on the front and one on the back. Okay, so now we turn this over. You see how it's all blistered on one side? We want to blister it on the other side as well. Now, while this is blistering, what I want you to do is get you a container. You can get a simple container such as a Rubbermaid plastic container. A glass container I like even better. But you get your container in which to put this in with a lid that can be sealed. So we're going to set this to the side. Okay, peppers are ready. So we cut off the first pepper. What all you do is drop the entire pepper, including the stem that's not going in the container. Let's be hard-headed in there. Then you cut off the back burner. You're not cooking the pepper, you're just charring the pepper. So therefore, have the peppers in there. You put the, of course, the little babies in here. And you seal the top. See how easy? And you set it aside. Now when you set it aside, what it's doing is it's going to be easier to remove that charred exterior so that you can use that in your chili, but it's going to give you intense flavor, and that's what you want. So while those are cooking, we're now going to start our spice blend. Now, I know you can buy chili today. You want to act up. I know you can buy a spice blend already made, such as your chili powder that comes in the convenient little chili powder. But we're going to use a little of that, but we want to intensify that flavor. So we're going to do a little something extra. Now, what I want you to do is let this pan get hot. Once the pan gets hot, just get it. Okay, it's hot there. These are whole seed coriander. We're going to drop the coriander seeds in there. We're going to drop the cumin seeds in there. And what we're going to do is roast those two. We say roast, we're just simply going to stir them in the pan while they toast lightly. And that's going to give you an intense flavor as well. So it's just toasting lightly in the pan. I didn't say burn it up, I said toast it lightly. So see the pan is there. When you say what is toast lightly, you just want to, once you begin to smell it, you see it brown a little. What I want you to do is simply turn off the pan. See, because it's still hot, and it'll still cook a little more, still brown a little more. And you simply just leave it there. The pan is hot. Now, if you're a professional toaster, you can go ahead and toast it a little longer. If you like, just don't burn it, because then you're going to get a very bitter taste. So, once that has already been toasted, what I like to do is add everything else to it, which is mine. This would be the smoked paprika, the red pepper flakes, the Mexican oregano, a touch of, which is 1/4 of a teaspoon if you want to say, of cocoa, and put all of that in there as well. So we're going to put that in there. We're going to put on some garlic powder, put some onion powder, and we just continue to stir that a little. Now, here's the cheat sheet. If you have an electric grinder, a little spice grinder or coffee grinder, you would take that and you would cool it first. So let it cool a moment. And then you're going to put it in the spice grinder and grind it up. So you're going to say, what if I don't have a spice grinder? Okay, you would simply take that, get you a mallet of some sort, put this mixture in a plastic bag or wrap it in the saran wrap and just smash it with the mallet. Same thing. You just want to crush up the coriander and crush up the cumin so that you can get the complete flavor. Once your spice blend has cooled a minute, please don't make a mess like I'm making. But go ahead and put it in the grinder. And these you can buy from Walmart or any store, Target, TJ Maxx. They have little coffee grinders, spice grinders. You can just simply put this in here. You're going to use it a lot, so it'll be okay. Okay, so while your garbanzo beans is still cooking, go get your big stock pot. Well, this is one of my favorites. Buy these down in Miami, but this is our stock pot. We're going to place a little olive oil in the heated pan. Yes, a little bit, just to coat the bottom of the pan a little. Don't have our spot on our oil. That's what's going on. So when the pan is warm, we're going to then add the TVB, which is the vegetable protein. Now, don't sleep on this. This tastes very good. It's going to make your chili nice and meaty looking, but no meat in it. So we're going to add the vegetable protein to the olive oil. I like to get them very toasty, they're very crunchy, because then you're going to have all these textures in your chili. So, there's no boring chili today. So we have the garbanzo beans cooking still. Now, while this is cooking, your TVP, and that's just cooking, that's just, what you're doing is just browning it off. So it's going to brown quite nicely. What we're going to do is add a little salt to it. It has a lot of salt with the soy sauce and the Worcestershire, but still not quite enough. So you're going to add a little salt. Meanwhile, you see your peppers. Let's go ahead and take a look at our peppers. We're going to move some things here. Look at our peppers. Now we have a clean towel here. We take these peppers, we put them on the towel, and all you have to do is just rub it. See? And you're going to take off all of the chard when you rub it. If you leave it in there long enough, if you have a really tight container, that makes it even better. Want to see how easy this is? You don't have to remove all the skin. Don't worry about that. But you're removing all the chard because you don't want the chard flavor. I mean, you don't want the charred burnt pieces in your food. So, you remove the majority of it, see? Gets a bit messy. And then you get the other one, you do the same thing. You just remove. The towel can do the work for you. Just simply let it slide and remove all the chard off the pepper. Now that your garbanzo beans are nice and toasted, and again, I added a little salt, but you can add a little spice to it as well. And don't burn yourself. So what I'm doing is removing the garbanzo beans simply because I'm going to use this pan in which to toast. So we don't have 5,000 pans dirty. I'm going to use the same pan that we did the garbanzo beans in. That's okay. That's okay. Take that pan and you pour that little oil off too. That's fine. And you're just going to toss it all back into that pan. What you're doing is toasting it a little. And again, this is going to give it flavor. Seems like all these extra steps. For these extra steps, it's going to be well worth it. So you're going to take that. You're going to put a little salt in there with it. This stuff does not come salty. So you're going to put your salt in there. Doing that. You're going to go ahead when it toasts for about a minute or two. Spices in there. You're now going to add your onions in there. Take your onions. You don't want to lose any onions. For all you onion haters, I'm sorry for you. We don't want to lose any onions. I'll brown toast them in there too. Notice I didn't add any additional oil. The pan, the garbanzo beans had provided enough oil in the bottom of that pan to toast. So we want to toast that in. Oh, you can smell this. This is really strong. That's what you want as well. Go ahead and remove the veins out your peppers because the majority of your heat is actually in your veins and your seeds. But a cheat sheet. If you ever want to know if your pepper is hot, just simply cut a little piece of the pepper, put it in your mouth and taste it. It's better to taste it now than when your pot is flaming. So go ahead and taste the pepper to see if the pepper is too hot. If the pepper is too hot for you, then use less pepper. But for me, I like the pepper, so it's going to be fine. Poblano is pretty much a mild pepper. It's not very hot. So we're going to rough chop this because, again, I like textures. So we're going to rough chop this. If you want it fine and you cut it fine, that's your chili, that's mine. So therefore, we got it all cut up chopped. Now, I'm not going to use this entire jalapeno. because I'm going to take some of that for the topping. And yes, I'm going to leave the vein in that jalapeno because I want a little heat. We're going to add a cup and a half of, I'm just going to go ahead and put a cup first. Vegetable stock. I'll stir that up. Stir it slow. You don't want to mess all over your kitchens. No, what you in a hurry for? Stir it up. Good food take time. Therefore, we go stir it up. You still got your vegetable, your TVP over here cooking. And see, as that begins to thicken, you're going to go ahead and add the remainder. So that's a cup and a half that we have added to. Now, that's simple. Now what we're going to do is start throwing things together. This is going to be real simple and quick. Remember the peppers that I had? I told you to get a dried pepper. Now somebody's going to say, no, she ain't. Yes, you are. I just take the dried pepper and simply just crush it up as much as I want. Just a little bit though. Ain't in the heat at night, so therefore just a little bit. I'll let that cook. Now see, when all your little drippings in the bottom is all incorporated. See how I just did that? That's why I say go slow. All your drippings is incorporated in the bottom of that. And over here, again, you had your TVP. See how good that looks? We'll go ahead, that has your peppers in there. Now you're going to start layering and adding things. So now that we have that, we're going to take this very carefully, pour that all over into there. Shake that pan, see? Pour it all over into there. See, you have no more drippings on the bottom of that pan. That's how it's supposed to be. Mix this all in there. Okay. Doesn't that look like a pot full of meat? It's going to taste like a pot full of meat. So now while that's in there, you're going to go ahead and add your cans of tomatoes. Now these are diced chopped tomato. If you don't like that, it's okay. Just don't add the diced one. That's tomato sauce. So you do a mixture. I do a blend of tomato sauce and the diced tomatoes. Actually, I like the whole tomatoes in there too. But today we're going to do diced tomatoes and tomato sauce. Now this is a big pot of chili. Let me add that right now. Very big pot of chili. But you know what? You can make it. You can put it in the containers and freeze it, and you don't have to do it again. So you make a lot in advance. You freeze it, and it will cook. So now you just let that part cook down. What I'm going to do is go ahead and add those fresh bay leaves too. While we're adding it, there we go. Now, what I don't do is add my beans immediately. I'll let that cook for about 20 minutes before I add any to it. So therefore, we're going to let that come to a boil, let it cook, make certain we put the top on the pot, and that's all we're going to do for that right now. Your chili will be continuing to cook. It's been cooking a good 25 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and add the beans. I add black beans. I don't like a lot of kidney beans, so we're going to put a little bit. About half a can of kidney beans. Hey, if you want to cook the whole can, go ahead. I like textures. And see, the black beans are smaller. The kidney beans are a little fatter. And these nice toasted garbanzo beans go in there. And so we take those, we mix them into the chili, and your chili begins to thicken quite a bit because those beans are in there. Don't have a lot of unnecessary juice in there. We like chili. We like it thick and hearty. So that's how we eat our chili. I'm going to go ahead and add about a teaspoon of brown sugar. Now, don't get mad when you say it's a teaspoon. That's brown sugar. Yes, it's going to add wonders to your chili. It's going to take it to another level. It's going to mild out that tomato. And this is going to be nice. And it's not going to be super sweet. So we'll go ahead and let that cook. And that's going to simmer down. And I generally put the lid on here and leave it to cook for about a good 2 hours. Do whatever you want to do with your day and leave this on simmer and let it cook slow. Continue to keep coming back checking on your chili now. It's not going to stir itself. You got to come and check on the chili and make certain it's not sticking to the bottom of the pot. But all it's going to do is make your House smell wonderful, and this is great comfort food in the winter, even here in Florida, because we're cold today. So this is wonderful, and you're just gonna let that cook low, slow. So we're gonna come back after this has cooked down, okay? Okay, to add to our chili today, we're gonna add a hoe cake, which is a southern favorite. I'm using this whole ear of corn. I simply just peel the husk and the silk off of the corn. See me? You're gonna put the ear of the corn on there. You're gonna roast it. What you wanna do is just make certain that it's charred. As our corn is charred, what we simply wanna see is you wanna see a few of the marks on the corn. It's not gonna blister because there's no skin on it. So we're basically just roasting the corn. Roast it on about every, keep turning it every few minutes, let it sit. While it's doing that, we're going to take our corn muffin mix, any mix of your choice. Today I have, however, the Bob's Red Mill, and I got this from Whole Foods. So we can go ahead and dump this in there. It seems to have everything in there that we possibly need. And we're going to put about, say, 2 cups. Put about 2 cups. So it's about 3 in this pack. 2 cups in here. Now, to this corn muffin mix, you can add some additional sugar of your choice if you like. I don't like extremely sweet cornbread, but this is mine. If you want to add a little sugar, I would say add about a 1/4 cup of sugar to it, so you can intensify. I don't know how sweet this is. This is my first time eating this brand. So we're going to go ahead and turn the corn again. See, the corn is never going to get black, but you can see the char marks, and you can see where the corn is cooking because it's getting that beautiful golden color. It's nice and juicy. While we got the corn doing that, let's go over the other ingredients. 3 eggs that we're going to add, and what you can do is just take the eggs, crack them. Better to crack them in a separate container. Crack the eggs, put them in the corn mixture. Make a little well. To that, you're going to put, I'm going to measure that for you, 4 tablespoons of whipping cream. To that, you're going to put 1/4 cup of whole milk. I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Let that sit for a minute. Because the star of the show is the corn. You have the corn still roasting. Now, while that's, you can mix this up. You may wish to add a little more liquid. Let's see how this goes. No, I like the consistency. Add a little more milk just to lighten it up just a bit. Till we're looking at 1/2 cup of milk. Whipping cream makes it really thick, but it's rich. We have about 3 tablespoons of chopped jalapenos. We're going to throw them in there. You just fold that in the batter. Also in this batter, we're going to fold in about 1/4 cup of your favorite Mexican cheese. Throw that in there as well. And again, you can see that this batter, this whipping cream has this batter really, really thick. So you have to, since we're playing with this new Bob Mills cornbread mix, go ahead and add a little more milk just till you get the consistency where we don't want it runny. We don't want it terribly thick. Meanwhile, you have your pan heating here, your cast iron or a non-stick pan, whatever pan of your choice. Okay, we take the corn over to the cutting board. Slowly, you don't have to be in a hurry. cut corn off the cob. You can actually do this in a bowl, but since I want to clean a lot today, it looks like, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off the cob. There we go. Got the majority of the corn off the cob, and then you can see this corn is not steamy hot. So if you wish to, I like it chunky, but wish to, you can sit and chop it really, really fine, so you can make certain that every bite is cooked correctly. You'll take that and put that over in the batter. Okay, so now that your pan is hot, we'll go ahead and add a little butter on the top of the olive oil that was in the pan. So see, you have this coating the bottom of your pan. You get it hot. Not searing, not too hot, because we're playing with this today. So therefore, we're going to drop a spoonful of this mixture into the pan. See how it moves around in the pan? Have those little whole cakes ready to go. Okay, that whipping cream has this batter really, really thick. That's saying we have that going. We have our avocados that we're going to slice up and add to the top of our chili. Today I had overripe and underripe. So let's see. You can also smash this up and make guac out of it, guacamole. But I like textures. So we're going to chop these up, give us some texture. As we have our whole cakes cooking in the pan for a few moments, it's about 5 minutes on that side, and they are puffing up, so that tells you that they're cooking. You flip them over, be very careful, that oil is hot. See how they're nice and toasty on the other side? That's what you want them to be. Nice and toasty. This is my favorite part of Sunday dinner growing up. That's nice and toasty. We're going to let that one toast a little more so it can be nice and brown. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plate some of this up. This is our chili. It's nice and thick. We didn't require any masa, any flour. Just thickened up. It's not soup, but it's chili. So it's nice and hearty and just enough thickness. So we're just gonna plate that up. It's gonna be a nice big bowl for this plate. It has to be pretty. So as we plate the chili up now, I'm gonna go ahead and place on the top of this chili, I'm gonna place the whole cake on the side. We're going to go over here and play with some of these toppings. On the top of that chili, we're going to also add some red onion. I'm going to touch on it. We're going to put a little bit of tomatoes on top of that. I'm going to go over here and add plenty of green onion. Green onion so you get a bite. We have some jalapenos. Now my favorite, we're going to add that avocado. That's going to be creamy and cooling on top of our chili. We're going to take that. To that we have this type of sour cream. We're going to add some sour cream to the top of the chili with some this cojito cheese as well. Just going to crumble that on top. That's cooling as well. Let's add it. We're going to add a little lime juice. It didn't want to cooperate, so let's try that again. Add a little lime juice to the top of the chili. That's going to give you an extra bite. I like color. Put a little more color on there. And that is your chili, which includes your whole cake, your vegetarian chili. And that will be wonderful on a cold night. You see the jalapenos as well. So we're gonna get a great bite here. I believe in an even bite. We have the avocados, We have the sour cream, we have the cheese, we gotta get all of that in there. Perfect bite. See, that's hot enough. Mmm. That's delicious. Well, that whole cake is wonderful. Now, to this whole cake, if you're a person who likes jiffy or sweet cornbread, I would add some honey or some sugar because this brand is not super sweet. But if you like me, I don't like it super sweet. So this is perfect. I have to let the cameraman taste it, see if he likes it as well. So with that, I say thank you for joining us today. You all have a wonderful evening. Much love.